Catering Circle. In partnership with Purple Eye Technologies, in association with Meridian Grand and sponsored by MR Printers, RCI, Regency Events, iTech Boss, Prestige and DineNet.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Catering Circle. This is where it all happens, where we give you the best advice that you need for your business. So where do we start? Let's see what today's topic's all about. Soon.
Technology is revolutionizing the post-pandemic restaurant sector. Use advanced technologies and up-to-date website. There are three major trends for the post-COVID world. Massive adoption of own online ordering system. Automation jumps from the back of house to the kitchen and beyond. And prevention measures. Having an online presence for your restaurant is more important than ever. Trade safely with Order Online. Contactless order fulfillment can make the process safer, faster and overall more enjoyable for the customer. Be compliant with the government food delivery and takeaway guidance. Take control of your business with your own branded online ordering system, featuring responsive site, mobile site, and integrated with EPOS system, etc. Kick out third-party online giants and save money. Do your own marketing for online orders. Use your menu and window to promote your own Order Online site. Cut costs by simplifying your online ordering menu. Use your EPOS receipt to promote your own Order Online site. Use social networking sites. Use your existing database for email, SMS marketing. Ensure quality in food and service. Promote offers and discounts. Give a wow feeling so your customers come back again and again. Strike a balance between safety, customer satisfaction and margin performance. Use modern kitchen appliances to save time and money. Menu, payment and delivery services, kitchen flow and inventory all need close assessment on a near daily basis. Use your EPOS data. Rethink your restaurant's menu and analyze where the most popular and profitable offerings are. Understand which menu items can be adjusted to optimize costs while still delighting customers. Place more accurate orders with suppliers and identify what can be removed to reduce waste. You will need to carefully monitor data day to day to set a new normal baseline.
There you have it. That's what today's topic's all about. It's all about technology and using it correctly in your business. Whether it's to order online or embracing new technologies, that is what we're going to discover and get some excellent tips from our panelists here live in the studio, and we've also got some great panelists via Zoom. And don't forget, you can also get in touch and be a part of today's show. All you've got to do is find us on socials. It's at Catering Circle. You can see it right there, or you can email us. I'm Nadia Ali, your host for this evening, and it gives me great pleasure to be back. And for the next hour and a half, we're really going to delve in deep and speak about everything you need to know when it comes to technology and the best things to do for your business. So firstly, I have with me today, I'm going to go straight to MD Abdul Haq. Welcome. This is, of course, Vice Chairman of Channel S Television, IT and Media Specialist and Managing Director of Purple Eye Technology and founder of the Catering Circle. So thank you very much for joining us again today. I know you've got lots to tell us on this topic, so you're the best person to actually be on today. Right?
I've been working on technology from age of, let's put it, A
3,
level.
2?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Computer science, yeah, that's
everything. Well, you're the best person to be here today.
Yeah.
So I really
call me a numberman today, I guess.
I am, absolutely. You have lots of questions coming your way, mate. That's all I can say. And then I have Martin Lewis, who is the Rational Development Chef, worked for Rational for 5 years, assisting customers from all sectors with culinary training and menu consulting to help maximize precise usage of rational equipment.
That's
Is
correct.
that all correct?
Yeah, it's just about,
Excellent.
yeah.
You know, I totally memorised that, by
Yeah,
the way,
you nailed
just
that,
to
you
let
nailed
all the
that.
audience know.
Yeah, no.
So great to have you as well.
No,
So
thank you.
very
Looking
much.
looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So if you have any questions, again, do tweet us, send us your questions, call in, and we will definitely put those questions forward to our panels today. And on my right, I have Adam Stead. Hi. Head of content at StoreKit. He is an expert in building content and marketing strategy. So thank you very much for joining us. I'm pretty sure you can also help us a lot today. Fingers crossed.
I hope so.
I hope so too. And we, of course, have a friend of the Catering Circle, Farhad Hussain Tipu, Executive Member of the Catering Circle and Press and Publication Secretary for BCA. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Are you excited to be back?
I'm
Because I haven't
excited to
seen
be back,
you.
and I see you live after a long time.
Very
because
long
of
time,
pandemic,
right?
Very long time.
I think you saw me like 2 years ago.
2 years
Like,
ago, yes.
wow, that's
And I'm very
crazy.
excited.
Well, it's
and
great to be
hopefully my audience excited too.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. We
welcome.
also have 2 panel members over Zoom today, so if I could please have them up on the screen. Firstly, I have Dr. Shafi Ahmed, who is an e-commerce expert. Thank you so much for joining us, and Dynet developer. And I think that was the wrong person, but here we are. There we are. Here's Dr. Shafi Ahmed. Hello. Thank you for joining us. I also have Jean-Paul Bartet, who is a business development manager at Trust Payments, all the way from Malta. So thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to call you JP. Is that okay?
That's definitely fine.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I do have questions for you as well, so don't you worry. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Here's segment 1. So one thing I know I've definitely learned throughout this pandemic, and when it comes to restaurants and takeaways, I personally don't have a restaurant or a takeaway, but I know one thing. I have eaten so much from restaurants and takeaway. This pandemic, it is unreal. And I've learned some new things, learned how to use new apps, learned how to get discounts, and I've really made the most of it as a customer. But how has businesses been running? How have they dealt with the situation? And to tell us more, we have our panel today, our judges here today. And of course, if you're at home and you have a business and you want to share your stories, you can do that too. All you've got to do is email us. The details are below. And you can, of course, find us on Twitter and social media at Catering Circle. So I'm going to come to Hokpai first, and I'm going to ask you, we've seen the growth of online ordering, especially during this pandemic, like I mentioned. I mean, me for one, we've ordered so much, it's unreal. I think I've used most of my savings on food outside because we couldn't go out. So it was like, okay, we're going to get some food from outside. And it was the safest option as well at the time, to be honest. But we've seen this growth, right? Now, you being an expert when it comes to e-commerce and when it comes to EPOS, etc., tell us, how has this affected businesses?
Obviously, we had a lockdown, and we know that people need to eat, and they want to be safe. What's the best way to be safe is do online internet. Everyone got a smartphone. We're talking about the smartphone is 82.9% of the population, about 55.5 million as we speak today, is using smartphone. So the best way to do, I personally just go to my smartphone, do an order online, boom, boom, the food is in the house.
Yeah.
And the technology is so amazing because you've got contactless set up, so food just comes online. You've got the review system so that people don't mess it up. And the future is the order online simply because of this smartphone that everyone carries.
Do you think there's been a demand for this?
It's always been a demand. I mean, but the culture has changed. I mean,
How do you mean?
Because without the COVID, we probably would be about 30% behind using the order online because a lot of people like to do face-to-face and other things. But Manush Oibashar Dash. So we go into habits. So we got into habits of ordering online. Even the older generations have. Even
My grandma does.
Yeah, Parliament doing Zoom calls. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
can you imagine all the lords
Queens,
and everybody
the royal
else?
family.
Yeah, exactly.
Was
so
doing a Zoom
people
call
has
this morning.
changed the way they work.
Yeah.
And this is where the restaurant needs to think, okay, I need to work with my customer. If I don't have a customer, I don't have a business. My customer wants order online. They want contactless. They want to be safe. Why not provide a service? We have to work with the customer. And order online is just saves restaurant as well a lot of hassle. For example, how many staff you need to pick up the call? What happens if it's engaged? Unlimited. They take their time. They can see the price. They can choose
But
their
they can be
favorite dish.
negatives too, right? I mean,
It
you're telling me all the positives for a customer,
Yeah.
right? How about the positives for a restaurant?
Everything about, think about it. Restaurants has to employ a staff to handle a phone, okay? The busy restaurant, they can't go through what happens, they lose the customer. With what online, they have unlimited use of that. So if they save one person on the phone, how much is that? Nowadays, staff wages, we know, even average staff costs 250 plus. Some of the waiter nowadays, charging more than 250, I'm sure. So we're talking about a saving of 10,000 plus in a year, £200 times 52, another mess. So over 10 grand. So we're looking at saving, and saving is your profit. This is why we promote that you need to do every step, use the technology, return on investment on technology is always great. And as a businessman, why not invest on things that your customer wants, gives you a control and saves you money? That's what people need to do.
You're very passionate about this, I can tell.
I
Thank you
do.
very much. I'm going to come to Martin and ask you. I mean, you as a customer, tell me. I mean, we've heard, Mr. Huck's side of the story.
Absolutely.
Tell me about yours, Martin. I mean, how do you feel as a customer? Do you feel? Tell me about your ordering experience
Well,
during the pandemic.
similar to you as well. When everybody went into lockdown, I think that we needed to treat ourselves somewhat, and I think a lot of people then embraced food as the only thing they could really do.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, the positives about now going to the apps and everything online, like you say, you can have so much more choice. Before apps, it was leaflets. So everybody had that leaflet drawer at home, and you had your Domino's, you had your Indian, your China, you had everything.
I don't even have any at home now.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
The leaflets are dead, so the paper industry is suffering, but the printing. But yeah, so you can have so much more choice, and I found that I've really, I saw a lot of chefs out there that were never doing takeaway before, so a lot of new businesses starting up and taking advantage. And you mentioned, what are the potential negatives? And that, I mean, I had a really positive. I got whatever I wanted. I can get Texas barbecue. I can get burgers in whatever I want at home. But what you need to remember is if it's a 40-seater restaurant and then all of a sudden they've gone to a takeaway, during the pandemic, it's great because they didn't have anybody coming into the restaurant. That kitchen was never designed to deal with the influx of orders that are coming in as well from a takeaway, which is then which is probably, we'll talk about that later, which is then spawned the dark kitchens.
Of course, yeah.
So the negatives, I suppose, for the restaurants are that maybe now people, and the restaurant industry is still suffering after the pandemic. Everything's open, everything's fine. A lot of people still aren't going out yet. A lot of people are still using the takeaway services. So I think we're in a transition period at the minute where we don't really know where it's going to go at the minute, and we need to fully understand, like in 2 years' time, what's the restaurant? Are people going to be going into restaurants as much? Are people going to spend more time eating at home? But the money's still going to the restaurants. It's fine, but we just need to adapt and sort of get used to the new.
Absolutely, but I also think, I like what you've touched on, and I also think, let's not forget, prior to this, when we used to do Catering Circle, prior to 2019, what did we talk about? The catering industry was suffering, the curry houses were suffering, so even more so now, after...
Staff crisis.
Absolutely.
And if it replaces one staff from holding a phone, why not
we're
utilize
losing people,
that?
right?
Yeah.
So this is where I think that's going to be our next problem. That's what we need to, our challenge, basically, as a catering industry. What do you do?
Utilize technologies, be a smart businessman.
I know, easy to say that, but there are humans out there looking for jobs as well, so we need to think about them too and see how we can save them. We've got Adam Sturd here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, Please tell me, how did the takeaway and contactless order processing grow during COVID-19?
Well, it grew a huge amount. So obviously what happened at the start of the pandemic is thousands of businesses suddenly found that they couldn't do what they did every day, and they had to go on to takeaway. So there's a huge kind of learning curve for new businesses setting up on takeaways. And then, but there was this problem, which was that, you know, Just Eat and Deliveroo, they were charging like 20-30% on everything. So what happened is that the company I work for, we started a takeaway platform that did not charge those kinds of outrageous fees. It's kind of indie takeaway that you go direct to your return customers, because 20% is fair enough if they're introducing new customers to you. But actually, it's a tax on repeat custom that isn't really good enough. And then what we found is that those same competencies, what made a beautiful takeaway menu, what made something that would actually drive sales, get people buying more, and help businesses manage themselves from the back end, actually worked great for in-store ordering as well. And the reason's slightly different. It's not that people can't order, but it's to do two different things. I mean, it's to help with the kind of operations. So the staff crisis is a huge thing, and you know, if you have a huge restaurant and you can't actually get the floor staff in to help people take orders, it's useful to have a system where people can peruse on their own and choose, and free up your best staff to kind of sell into people and talk to people about what the the best items on the menu are, educate them a bit, and then also to drive sales. That's the key thing, because at the minute, you know, restaurants, the whole industry is in pain. We've had this hugely difficult period. Now we're looking to recover, and actually driving sales is the key thing. So selling online can do both of those things. It can help with takeaway. A really interesting point that you made about peak times. That's so, because actually the way that a lot of people use the takeaway aspect of StoreKit, for example, is that they'll actually try and smooth out. So you turn it off at the peak times, and then you try and have a consistent, you know, sell consistently all the way through the open hours, so that you can have the kitchen constantly in use and constantly selling. And that's the kind of...
Well, won't you miss out?
Well, you would only turn it off at the point that you could no longer fulfil the demand,
okay,
right? Obviously, you don't turn it off until you can no longer accept the orders, but it's possible to turn off the takeaway at the point where you want to be totally focused on in-house. But and that is what is useful about ordering and takeaway platforms, and I think that market has developed a huge amount through the pandemic. So that's a really exciting thing that's come out of it, and hopefully will help lots of businesses recover.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Adam. I know you've got lots to tell us.
Yes.
So I can't wait to shoot some more questions to you. But I'm going to go straight to Farhad Hussain and ask you, I mean, you use the EPOS system at the moment currently in your restaurant, right? Tell us a bit about the key benefits of this.
Okay. Thank you. I think the Hawk buy and already mentioned a lot of benefit. So, you know, when I had no EPOS system, on that time, I had 2 people used to work on counter. Now only 1 person, even myself, I can manage it. So that's a great benefit. I saved staff. And at the moment, as you know, we got the huge staff shortage in our industry. And there is only one solution. I'm going to come to the benefit. There's only one solution, is that using technology, because this is the solution for our industry, because we cannot get staff straight away. So using technology or using that order online, we can save staff. But the benefit I got, first of all, you see, at the moment, the great benefit, even if I talk about last week, Saturday was really busy, can't cope with the phone. So I switched off the phone and sent a quick message, order online only, because I'm not taking any phone order. So one after another come in, so I don't have to do anything. Order come in. And if you look at EPOS system, the EPOS system, because at the moment, without EPOS system, running takeaway restaurant is really hard, because you can take the order easily and all efficient, no mistake. Because if we take an order on the phone and writing by hand and adding with the calculator, there will be a huge mistake. So you don't. I'm not making any mistake on, and also repeat customer, because if somebody ordering, you can see on the screen, David calling you, David, what do you want? Do you want the same order? One button, 30 seconds.
So it's great for customer service as well, right?
Yeah, the customer service, great customer service. And online.
And is it not hard to train your staff?
This is very simple. You see, everyone has got mobile phones, smartphones, and it's easier than that. So anybody can take the order. Even my drivers, they can take the order. So it's so simple, so easy, the way they design it. And I'm using the formulate technology, which is very, that technology, I think they spend lots of money to design it for our industry only.
Absolutely.
And it works
Absolutely.
fine.
Thank you very much. And of course, just to remind you, there are other technologies out there as well for you to please do your research and choose which one works for your company. So thank you very much for sharing that. Online via Zoom, we also have two very important guests. We have JP with us. Hi, JP. How are you doing? This is the fun of live television. Hey, there you are. Lovely to see you, finally. JP, please tell us about e-commerce payment solutions and what can be done to reduce the e-cost.
Look, I mean, as has been said before me, I mean, there's been a lot of change as a result of the pandemic, and we've seen e-commerce payments go through the roof as a result of that, through technology becoming an important player. I mean, e-com does allow restaurants to secure payments of orders that are normally being done and not being settled for before. So it allows restaurants not just to reduce costs directly through the e-com payments, but also to ensure that orders that they're being made are being paid for, and then just fulfill them.
Thank you very, very much for that. Thank you. I'm aware that Dr. Shafi is also online, but I will speak to you a bit later on, and we will still talk about ordering online. We're going to have to go on a quick break now. However, we'll come back and we'll speak to all our guests that are here in studio with me today, and of course online as well. And of course, you can also get in touch. All you've got to do is find us at Catering Circle. I'll be back straight after a little break.
Catering Circle, in partnership with Purple Eye Technologies, in association with Meridian Grand, and sponsored by MR Printers, RCI, Regency Events, iTech Boss, Prestige and DineNet.
Welcome back to the Catering Circle, and we are still talking about ordering online. And as I discussed just before the break, we were speaking to Dr. Shafi Ahmed. Can I have Dr. Shafi Ahmed back on the screen, please? Thank you so much for joining us today. And as an expert in e-commerce, I'd like to ask you to tell us briefly about what is ordering online. I mean, how would you put that in your words?
So it's very simple. You have a system which allows restaurants to take orders. Can you hear me? Sorry,
yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, cool. So yes, so you have a system which allows restaurants to take orders. It can be via an app, it can be via a website, and the customer who is placing the order has to input 3 key pieces of information. One is their information about themselves, so where they live, their name, and so on. The second, which is the most crucial piece, which is what items they're ordering. And the third piece is their payment information. So once the payment has been approved, the order will go through and then it will go into the restaurant's EPOS system, or it can come via an email. There are many, many ways. And once the order has been received, the chef or the cook will cook the whole thing and then hand it over to the delivery man who's going to deliver the whole thing. So that's the life cycle of a simple order. I would categorize it as quite complex compared to other e-commerce systems whereby you have to deliver the product within a very short span of time. Mm-hmm. If you compare that with Tesco's or Amazon's or Waitrose or any other platform, you are delivering the whole thing within, so you take at least 24 hours to deliver the whole thing. Here, you are making the product once you have received the order and then delivering it within an hour or so. So it is a challenging, I would say, logistically it's quite challenging. Technically, it's quite challenging. But we, as food lovers, we love to use the apps. I mean, if you have an app or website which is very user-friendly, customers will come back to those and then order again and again. And we have seen, research has shown that you have a high customer retention rate if you can entice them online, as opposed to if you are inviting them physically to your restaurant. So previously, pre-pandemic, or let's say about a decade ago, you had restaurants where your customers were only who used to come physically to your place. Right now, your customer is anyone who is living within a 2 or 3 mile radius. They're all your customers. So you have a larger pool of customers where you can target and so on. So yeah, lots of challenges technically, but it's fun.
Well, please tell us, I mean, I'd like to know, what are the differences between HTML, CMS, and responsive sites?
So if you are building an HTML website, and if you want to make any change to your website, you would have to call up your developer. And so if you want to change the price of an item, you'd have to call up the developer to make any changes to your website. If you want to put up an important piece of information, you have to call up the developer. So you are reliant on your developer if you are only building an HTML website. If you go for a CMS, you yourself or anyone who is within your restaurant or takeaway can change the price, can put up any message, so they can maintain the websites themselves. So you are not relying on anyone. So that's the benefit of CMS as opposed to HTML. If you produce a responsive website, it caters for any screen size. So it can be, so your website would look nice on a tablet, on an iPhone, on a desktop, any screen size that you have. So those are the 3 comparisons, I would say, yes. So you can have an website, HTML website, which is responsive and also managed by a CMS.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And if I could ask JP to please tell us a little bit more. I know you touched on payment methods, etc., earlier on, but tell me a bit about contactless payment. I mean, you know, how has that had an impact, especially during the pandemic? I mean, has it helped this industry?
Well, definitely. I mean, by introducing contactless payments, you have offered people, especially during the pandemic, the peace of mind of not having to handle cash, not having to handle objects being touched by other people. So, you know, contactless payments coupled with contactless delivery has definitely boosted orders, boosted the way people go about making their orders and their payments and fulfillment.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And if I could ask Dr. Shafi to maybe elaborate on the apps that are now available and what the latest ones are that would actually help the industry.
So can I name them here, or?
You can name a few, and of course our audience that are watching at home definitely need to do their own research and choose accordingly.
Sure. So there are the big ones. So you have Just Eat, you have Uber Eats, you have Deliveroo, and quite a few others, which are quite big in terms of their customer numbers. And there are then some customized solutions, like quite a few that you are aware of, if you actually do your research, which provides you, I would say, more features as opposed to Uber Eats. The big ones provide you, what they provide you is a larger pool of customers, whereas as opposed to the smaller ones, which provide you a larger feature, but less amount of customers. So it's a balance that you have to strike, right? Whether you want to go for more customers or whether you want to provide a seamless operation within your restaurant or takeaway. So if you buy a smaller, if you let's say for example, if you buy Dinette, what you're getting is you're getting the website, you're getting an app, you're also getting a point of sale system, you're also getting a CRM, TMS. So you can tie up all the systems together, and so it's like your Google account. So if you create it once, then you can log into YouTube, you can log into Gmail, you can use any of the Google services. So I think that's one of the benefits, whereby all the systems are connected, all the systems talk to each other. If I use Uber Eats or Deliveroo, the problem is, in my opinion, is that when the order comes through, then the order then has to be re-entered again into your point of sale system. That would cause problems in terms of you entering the whole order again, which takes more time, which takes more resources.
Yeah.
So it's a balance that restaurants and takeaways, it's a dilemma that they're having to tackle with, I would say.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I'm going to come straight to Mr. Hock now and ask you to tell us briefly about the most cost-effective ways to market your own brand, when you're ordering online.
Yes, I mean, firstly, if you just created your order online and you don't have all the mainstream or giants, if you like, Just Eat, Uber Eats and so many others available on the market, your choice is your brand. Nobody knows, so you got to do marketing by yourself. And the easy way to do marketing is, you know your local customer. It's always within 3-mile radius. Give the link to your website. Maybe provide a small promotion, free papadam, or and say the good thing about your site. You're not adding extra service charges like the other people do. The kind of technology you could use, for example, email them, SMS them, but in my opinion, the best way to market is face-to-face. Tell the customer about a website link. Text message is very cheap. You can, if you've got a customer database, especially if you're running a new POS system, if you use customer, one click, whatever thousands people you have will get it with your link. They will do it. But it's always about marketing, because if nobody knows your brand, no one will use it. There are people out there who can use the Google marketing. There are so many features available. Facebook, especially the social media side. Twitter hasn't been very good, but especially because a lot of the restaurant or users are not using it. But the Facebook been amazing for the Indian restaurants, especially I can go to Facebook and I can see a lot of the restaurant created their own website with a big customer base. One click, make it fun, create a, some sort of gimmicks on your Facebook, name a dish like Tipaway does all the time. It's cost you nothing, and win something, and that's always works. So you got to be creative with your marketing. If you don't do marketing, nobody will know your site, and therefore you will be always stuck with the mainstream giants order online, which you want to avoid, because nowadays, as I said, 78% or 79 people of the UK population got this smartphone. We're talking about millions of people, majority of your customer, and they use order online. You have to give what customer wants. I never call and do it. I always use my website, boom, boom, because I can see what I order. I get an email, and I can complain about it. With the phone, I don't have the time. I call them. They probably misunderstood my language or whatever, and the time is in there. There's always a stress, and you don't know how much you are paying for. With the order online, it's just on my mobile phone, and you have to utilize this device, whether it's Apple or Android. Make sure you give them the best experience. And the marketing needs to be done if you want to have a successful order online by yourself, have your own branding, and pay less commissions and other things. So again, you save a lot of money, and I always say saving is your profit. Why are you running a business if you're not making profit? You got to make profit, therefore you need to do the savings, and that's where it comes in. You taking control of your customer, you taking control of your business, you taking control of your payment. So a lot of the payment goes, if you have your order online, straight to your account.
But don't you find sometimes, I'm just playing devil's advocate right now, where we've actually spoken, or during the series, we've spoken about marketing and how important it is. And actually, we've had marketers come on this seat and say, go and hire someone to help you. But now you're saying, actually, you can do it at home. Where do you stand with this?
Okay.
What do you think?
So there are different types of marketing. If you were to market your brand, for example, launch a menu, you get a PR person. If you want a different type of marketing on your restaurant, getting the high-end customer. This is what we're talking about. Delivery system where you have if you have a customer base, and you already got on your UPOS system, probably over the years you got 6,000 to 7,000, whatever figures, number of address and mobile numbers. Utilize those. and a lot of the tools available, especially with most of the EPOS system now integrated, MS system, SMS system, for example, you can email them automatically. So if you have a big customer database over the time, and you know that within 3-mile radius, you know pretty much most of your customer, why pay what are online, they're giant, where they did no marketing.
Company,
Your regular customer paying a commission between, I don't know, 14% to 30-40%. Why? You can have that money in your account and utilize it for something else. And the most important, your control of your customer. If that customer goes to another, giant or another online ordering system, that means, you lose that customer, and they may order from other websites. Because if I'm on say Uber Eats, Just Do, whatever you want to call it, I go in there, I see another 20 other restaurants. So my way of saying, keep your customer. Make sure they come to your website and give them some candy. Why not give some papadum free or something?
Give them some candy.
I love it.
Yeah.
When someone says, "Oh, I don't have to pay,"
I love freebies.
Yeah.
As a customer,
No
I look
service
forward to my
charge,
freebies.
but make sure you give them a good service.
Yeah.
10%, 15% is the margin you work.
Yeah.
You really work hard in takeaway. Some that they do £20 delivery, they're not making even £4 on a delivery. If these people take 10, 15%, £6, £7, where is the money for them? So they're working for the order online system. Yes, they see it, they don't. So you got to be smart. Yeah, if there's some places you got to, and if they do the marketing, bring new customers, that's fine. But what about the regular customer? You probably go, majority of your customer knows you. They would have ordered through the phone, or if you had a site, they will do that. So why don't you utilize that? It's just all about working out what makes understand.
I think it's also about just going back, right? Because I remember when my father had a restaurant 15 years ago, he had a takeaway, and there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there was no TikTok. Everything was word of mouth. So what you're saying is, when it's in the radius, go ahead, go back to those tools and use what you did, back in the days, leafleting or getting in touch. Nowadays we have these technology EPOS systems. Shoot out a text message and get in touch with them.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. And again, you are here to make money.
Yeah.
And if you don't save money, you're not going to make money. Whatever profit you're making, if you give it to a third party, you're wasting your time. You're working for them, in other words. Nowadays, the businessmen feel like, I'm working for everybody, the staff, the water online system, the other people, the technology man, everyone else, and nothing for you. This is how people are struggling. And you just got to cut out everything, and just the things that works for you, just be smart about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're very passionate about that topic. Thank you very much. Adam, I could see you nodding from the back of my head, by the way. Nodding away as he was mentioning a few things. Now, there are so many ordering, platforms out there. What would you recommend personally? This is your opinion for the restaurants, and if there's any innovative technologies available that you think are out there in the market at the moment.
Well, I think the way that you think about it is really interesting, actually, because the thing about marketing people is they're expensive.
Yeah.
And actually, if you as an owner or as an operator want to do some of that marketing and want to take advantage of the marketing opportunities that a system like StoreKit or another one can bring you, you actually have to optimize really ruthlessly to save your own time. Because actually what we find is that a lot of merchants, they think very carefully about margins, but they don't value their own time enough. They don't realize how valuable their time can be, because it'll give them that headspace to think about marketing, to think about that promotion, to think about how they're going to use those email addresses, the SMS capability of a system like ours, and so you want something that it is as simple as possible. So yes, I'd probably have one of the big platforms, Deliveroo or Just Eat. I would certainly have an indie platform like StoreKit, because then you can route your return customers through that, get them off of the high margin ones, and put all your effort in terms of getting them to order through that platform. And also with those superior capabilities that the gentleman on the TV was talking about, then you can try and smooth out those service. So with pickup slots, for example, you can take as many orders as your kitchen can handle and then have a smooth delivery of that all the way through the service and kind of really optimize your time.
Yeah.
But also I would focus on making sure that it is easy for you to use. So single iPad entry, it is such a hassle when you have to, re-enter something on several different iPads, or you've got an Uber Eats iPad and a Just Eat iPad. And with a good system, you should be able to route everything to a single iPad so that you don't have to pay an individual to sit there and tap 4 iPads, and it just comes straight through to the kitchen, and it is an easy time for everybody involved. So there's a lot of different things to think about, and I'd have a combination of, yes, a kind of website. I think the gentleman talking about CMS, I'd probably go for like an easy peasy site builder like Wix or Squarespace, and then I'd have an indie takeaway menu like StoreKit, and then probably use one of the big delivery apps if I thought I needed it, and if I thought it was bringing me more customers, then I'm losing margin on because they're not going through that second menu.
Okay, thank you very much, Adam. And of course, share us what technologies you're using, whether it's an Android, whether it's Apple, whatever it is, tell us which technology you're using, what is working for you, and what apps are you using? Is it the giant ones you're using? Is it the smaller ones you're using? Tell us and get in touch. We really want to hear from you. You know how to get in touch with us. The details are below. And of course, if you're a bit of a social media geek, you can also find us. All you've got to do is search for us at Catering Circle. I'm going to come to Farhad Tipu and ask you, how do you, with regards to your marketing strategy at the moment, what do you do? What benefits are working for you to retain your existing customers?
Okay, thank you. It's a very nice question. I think Hawkby mentioned some of them, but one I just want to highlight. It doesn't cost me nothing. I think once every Thursday I do take a nice picture of a dish, and I put it on Facebook. Guess the name of the dish and you will get it free. So we often I get 2 or 1 winner, and obviously when they're coming to collect it, they are not just getting this, but they're buying something else. So that's a really it's just a kind of fun gimmicks and fun, because I love technology myself. I love technology and I love marketing as well. And you know what? I want every single social media presence of my business, and it's very simple. You see nowadays, because everyone has got a smartphone, even if you don't want to pay a professional guy, because obviously our small business, we have a very less budget. There is sometimes the small business, as Hawkby mentioned, you get 10%, so where you will get your marketing budget? So what I do, I have a newsletter. I send newsletter every week. I have my EPOS has over 7,000 data, and I use text message, SMS, and that text message I can select where I am to send. 2-mile radius, certain postcode. So when it's not busy, I'm going to use that. And I have got on my EPOS and my online ordering, I can select a code. I can send a code to customer, get £5 off, get £2 off. You know what I mean? 2 days only. So when it's busy time, I use my staff time. You know what I mean?
Very clever.
And obviously, also. Obviously, I'm present on all the social media. If I name it, like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and also the Neighbor one.
Are we on TikTok as well now?
Yeah, TikTok. Yeah, okay. I did a couple of videos on TikTok.
Are you dancing in any of them?
No, I didn't.
Just checking. You might be doing something with the dish.
I will do the dancing soon.
But a video.
Yeah, with a video. But I love eating, so
Don't we all? Don't we all just love eating?
Yeah, I love eating. So, but nowadays, you see, the marketing is fun. And there is a lot of gimmick you can use. But what I urge to everyone, all the restaurateurs, the takeaway owners, please do marketing. And it's so simple. If you cannot do it, but maybe your son or your daughter, they can do it, and they can do it for you.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of professional companies out there that took nice pictures, and they're going to do it within a small budget, So that's kind of things I'm doing. Thank you
very much. Thank you. Well, that takes me really nicely into our next segment. So let's go and move on to segment 2. So this topic, this segment is all about embracing new technologies, and I know we've touched on it. We've already spoken about some technology, some websites, etc., some apps that we should be using or we are currently using. But we're going to dig deeper. We want to know more about it. But before we do that, here's a little video to tell you more.
Embracing new technologies. Use appropriate EPOS system, digital menu, apps, boards. Create social media pages. Build a local following. Post photos and special offer. Stay active. Set up a website. Invest in your restaurant website. Set up a Google account. Improve in your search engine optimization SEO strategy. Register with review site. Set up a blog on your website. Make it a Wi-Fi hotspot. Add a reservation widget. Introduce easy payment solutions. Send out digital coupons. Build loyalty with SMS and email marketing. Equip your kitchen well with modern appliances.
শেষ হতে দাঁড়ি অনেক কাজ হয়েছে ভাই কখন আপনি সাক্ষী প্রাণী কবে হামিদ আপনি
रेस्टोरेंट पूरा बिजी यार अपने कस्टमर रह के मोबाइल फोन और फेसबुक को देख रहा भाई इतना तो उचित ना
डिस्टर्ब और बना ब्रेकफास्ट
ब्रेक को खत्म कर लेते हैं अपने ब्रेक একটু আগে ব্রেক নিলে আবারও ব্রেক কাস্টমার রাখকে
আপনি মানুষ পালেন আপনার কাম আমি করতাম না আপনি কি তা করেন কালকে থেকে আপনি মানুষ দেবেন
রাগ করেন না জানি ভাই আপনি বক্কা
জি না আপনি মানুষ দেবেন
জি না বক্কা আপনি রেস্টুরেন্ট কাফে ব্রেক নিতে কোনো অসুবিধা নেই আমরা বল গেল থ্যাংক ইউ
That was it. That was all about embracing new technologies. You're laughing away, so tell us a little bit about embracing new technologies.
Thank you. I love technology, as I said, and I have a dream. I will have a takeaway, a big takeaway with all the equipment in the kitchen and front house. So hopefully we'll have that, but it's a lot of benefit on the new technology.
I agree.
Using technologies front house and back house.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today. I know you're going to be leaving us now.
Yes.
But thank you very, very much for joining us. And of course, we look forward to watching lots more of your TikTok videos.
Thank you very much.
There you have it. Thank you very much for staying with us. We do have a little break now, but as soon as the break's over, we're going to come back and talk deeply about embracing new technologies. See you in a bit.
Catering Circle. In partnership with Purple Eye Technologies, in association with Meridian Grand and sponsored by MR Printers, RCI, Regency Events, iTech Boss, Prestige and DineNet.
Welcome back to the Catering Circle, and we are still talking about embracing new technologies. I have with me a new panel in the studio, on the hot seat. It is somebody very special to me who I absolutely admire for the work and the passion that he does, and not only for the catering industry, but also as a pillar of the community. So thank you very much for joining us. Managing Director of Royal Regency, a great supporter of the Catering Circle. And of course, we already know that you are a very successful businessman in the catering sector. So thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Abdul Bari. I will come to you and ask you in a second about embracing new technologies and, you know, how you've done it in your successful businesses and how you've embraced it, and how obviously our audience at home can also embrace it. Just want to remind you at home as well, you can too be in touch, and all you've got to do is find us on social media at Catering Circle and get in touch. I'm going to come straight to Martin and speak to Martin and ask you about embracing new technologies and how you actually embrace new technology. You know, what kind of modern kitchen technologies that are available in the market at the moment that you think people really need to embrace?
Yeah, well, there's plenty of the problem is with obviously with technology, it needs to replace and improve things. So it's technology for technology's sake is not good. Traditions still need to be upkept, but you also obviously need to embrace new things that are around. And in the kitchen, so the company I work for, Rationale, we supply combi steamers and multifunctional cooking equipment. So what that does basically mean is that we can standardize a menu. So if you take a traditional kitchen, so you might have burners, tandoors, deep fat fryers, all this different stuff. But what you need to actually operate that is staff. And at the minute, as we all know, staff is a very, very hard thing to get hold of. So what can we do? How can technology cut down on the amount of equipment that we need, and therefore cut down on the amount of staff that we need, but still be able to produce the food of the quality that the customers require? So what we do and what I do my day-to-day would be to consult with restaurants that may think that I need to really, you know, I can't get staff, I'm really struggling to produce the food. So what we can do is then come and consult with the customer, and then we can show them what's available in the market. So for instance, if we take a tandoor oven, we've been working very, very closely with the Indian market recently with ways of being able to take away this equipment and then replace it with new technology that requires maybe less skilled staff to be able to use it. So for instance, if you take a simple tandoor oven, you may get an order for a chicken tikka, a lamb tikka, naan breads, paneer. You've got skewers and these are very hot pieces of equipment. And I think if you've ever stood over one, you need to, number one, you need to be able to handle that, then be able to actually be able to cook with it. They're very, very hot. They can burn things very, very quickly. Things can fall off. The consistency can always differ. So with a Rationale oven, we can, or with a combi steamer oven, other things are available. We can actually set the climate to be exactly the same as a tandoor. But then you can just put it flat and then you could set a timer. So I'll do a chicken tikka. It takes 6 minutes. That's absolutely perfect. Save, name chicken tikka. So therefore, even yourself or anyone here could walk in there, and as long as the prep has been done, they could put it in there, and it could be exactly the same. And we can run a whole service like that. So that's available in the restaurants. But what you're seeing now with the takeaway market as well is that the restaurants are now opening up sort of grab-and-go ventures, much smaller businesses. So working inside a dark kitchen, and a dark kitchen is something that's become quite popular recently. So a businessman or a restaurant can hire a small space with inside like a container or something with some equipment in there. They would run a reduced menu which would be available on Deliveroo or anything like that. And you can then obviously hire people that have less skill, because we've got the equipment in there, everything's been saved. Everything, the menu's there, it's all written down for them how to do it, and we can replicate it time and time again without having to ever risk wasting food, burning people as well, I was saying with the kettle, which is always nice. And it just makes it a much smoother operation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. So it's all about the combination ovens out there. So make sure you do your research and see what works best for your business. And I'm going to come straight to you and ask you about modern equipment. I mean, how can modern kitchen appliances increase productivity in a restaurant?
Well,
taking into account obviously what
he explained very well. I mean, there are many equipments available on the market. It all depends what you want to do, and every restaurant have different requirement based on their requirement, like from dishwasher to rational oven, and also I mean, you can have many different things based on everybody's requirement is different. I mean, obviously modern technology, modern equipment make your life easy, and it saves. I mean, you know, physical labor. It saves physical labor, and look, I used to have a tandoor oven, as you said, the two or three tandoor oven, and we do large catering. When I say large, sometimes it can be very large, and whole night.
What numbers are we talking? Like
1,000 people.
Yeah.
Yes, and cook food for chicken tikka for 1,000 people. It used to take whole night for a one person. But now I have combination oven, rational oven,
or any other ovens.
Yeah, that's right. It takes only half an hour, and everything cooked perfectly. Quality is same. I mean, it depends how you are programming it. And my understanding is if you seek advice from Rational, they will help is available, and they can train chef and everyone. So I think everybody should use and at least try to use technology. It makes life easier for kitchen staff, for everyone.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. Today is all about technology, and I have experts on the panel today who run their own businesses in different sectors and with different technologies. So, of course, please do go check them out, and, of course, do your own research at home before making any decisions. And today, of course, our participants that are here are talking from their own experience. I'm going to go straight to our Zoom panelists that are there. So if I could speak to JP, if I could see JP. Sorry for keeping you there for such a long time.
No problem.
But I hope you're enjoying what we are speaking about here in the studio. And I'd like to ask you now about the latest and best payment solutions on the market when we think about technology.
Yes, and what we have done as can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, so what we have done as a company at Trust Payments is we've actually always looking for new technologies to bring in, not just card processing online, but also POS terminals for in-store payments. As you mentioned earlier, contactless, new devices that allow to integrate other technologies like loyalty programs that sit on top of your payment solutions, also being able to attract different payment methods, not just card processing, but other local payment methods like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Alipay, WeChat Pay, different type of payment solutions that allow restaurants to increase the catchment of different audiences that prefer different ways of paying. You know, recently we bought Mobilize, which is a loyalty solution, and it allows us to provide restaurants with large data insights of their customer bases, and gives them the opportunity to not just demand or get more loyalty from their customers, but even actually give loyalty back to their own customers in terms of offers, as was mentioned earlier. You know, so we offer them the opportunity to replace your standard loyalty card with mobile-based loyalty solutions that drive more businesses.
And
We're always looking for new solutions.
And what do you think restaurants should actually look out for when they're having payment solutions?
Well, it all depends on the type of restaurants that you're looking at, you know. So if you have mostly dark kitchens that are delivering, you're obviously looking for e-com solutions that are integrated into the technology platforms that they're using. So if you have own branded online ordering systems, EPOS systems, you want to make sure as a restaurant that you have the best payment solution catering for your type of business. And on the other hand, if you have in-store customers and in-store services, you want to make sure that you have a combination of both POS devices as well as e-com solutions that can even talk to each other and even allow customers that have initially maybe bought as an in-store purchase and then have their card details automatically placed onto their new e-com profiles for them to be able to use them straight away when paying online.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that in-depth information, and I really hope it's helped anybody at home wondering what to do and how to do that. So thank you very much for that information. I'm going to go to Dr. Shafi Ahmed now and ask you about EPOS systems and the integration of EPOS systems and what's required to fit in restaurant managements. Like what kind of integration?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last bit.
So what kind of integration EPOS system are required to fit in restaurants, especially when it comes to management?
So yes, EPOS systems, if they can be integrated with online ordering, that's a plus. But some of the big companies, they don't allow that integration. If you take the smaller solutions, they are integrated with your online ordering, they're integrated with your customer relationship management system, they're integrated with your timesheet management systems, time management systems, and so on. So what it allows you is to look at all the orders that have been placed by customers, all the orders that have been placed within the restaurants. It's all stored in your point of sale solution. That allows you to mine the data to come up with, to answer many questions. So you can say, on which day are my customers actually visiting the restaurant more? Which item is actually more popular? And so you can answer all these questions. So data is a key factor. So I think if you have a point of sale system, you get your own data, which you can then use to do your own research. You can answer many questions. I think in addition to technology, data is a key thing, which can enable you to make intelligent decisions, which can allow you to optimize in many ways. It can allow you to save cost and so on. But yes, an integrated solution can only do that. Does that answer your question? Sorry.
Thank you very much. That is perfectly. Tell me a bit about the benefits of using a CRM and a TMS.
So CRM will allow you to store your customer data, and that can help you a lot. So let's say if a customer calls you up, using the caller ID, you can see who's calling you, and then you can look at their order history and then answer their questions promptly. I think in a more directly. With the time management system, it allows you to look after the rota. You can manage the rota. You can see who's coming in, when the staff are leaving, and so on. So that allows you to manage your staff, see who's working hard, who's not working hard, and so on. So that allows you to make good business decisions.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Shafi. Adam, taking into account what obviously Dr. Shafi's mentioned about using EPOS systems and having certain technologies in a business, would you, what would you recommend businesses do to attract and retain the customers during this crisis period?
It's a really good question, and I think it's actually worth doing the thing properly and drawing out a customer journey, which is what you'd do in a company where they have a big marketing department, and look at the different stages where someone's hearing about your restaurant for the first time, where they're thinking, do I want to eat there, and where they are a customer that you want to upsell to and get them buying bigger and better dishes and dishes that are going to make them enjoy themselves more and also keep coming back. So I think actually with the kind of first is about your business, I think that shop front and location are still king, but actually where technology first becomes really interesting is where people are assessing, do I want to eat there? I think that's where you should be actively promoting and encouraging people to post good reviews on your TripAdvisor and your Google business listing. You should be maintaining a good Instagram channel, is probably the social channel where people are going to assess, does your food look any good or not?
I check it out before I eat anywhere.
Exactly right. Yeah. So I would. It's worth the investment, getting a professional in maybe to take some nice photographs and then posting them slowly over on your Instagram so that you look really good. Then you should, encouraging people to review well is key. So we obviously help with feedback where we ask everybody who buys through your mobile ordering to. What did you think? And A, that allows you to stay sharp and know if the quality's dropping or when you're doing things really right. And B, it allows you to seek out those customers who really enjoyed themselves, encourage them to post, encourage them to get involved and post a 5-star review and tell everybody about how great your business is. Then when it comes to the actual they're in the restaurant, how am I going to upsell to them? How am I going to make sure that they are buying some of the premium items? How am I going to encourage them to buy more? I think that there's a kind of revolution in terms of the way that we're talking to customers. Yes, with mobile ordering, you can display it a lot nicer and you can encourage upsells. But I think there's a lot of bread and butter things about menu engineering is the term, that how do you structure a menu to make it psychologically efficient so that somebody feels comfortable spending a little bit more and excited to eat there? So like a very obvious trick is that you lead with the largest cost component first, right? So like with somewhere like Pizza Pilgrims, you buy your pizza and then you just add the smaller items one after the other, and that's the way that these things should work with sort of modifiers and size. So customization options as well are a huge thing now, and they're a huge part of what we do with mobile menus. And then once you have that data, that's the kind of final piece. That is you've got an email address, you've got a mobile number, and not only can you contact those customers who you know are your fans and go back to them and say, let's keep ourselves front of mind. Let's remind you that we've got offers on, we've got deals that are coming through, and just trying to keep yourself in their brain. But also you can kind of use the information about who your customers are to retarget people at the top of the funnel. So, for example, you could build a lookalike audience in Facebook, for example. That's more advanced stuff, but that's one of the things you could do to try and get eyeballs on your restaurant who are relevant, who might not have heard of you before. So I would do that exercise. I'd plot out a customer journey, and then I'd identify how technology can help at every single stage. And then what you've got to do is you've got to think very carefully, is it possible, is it easy to manage this? Because I'm somebody who doesn't have much time and I need it all to fit together at once.
Thank you very much. That was in-depth information, very, very in-depth. And I'm like, whoa! Let me just take all that information in. And of course, for you watching at home, if you are watching this and you're not recording this, don't you worry, because you can catch up on our Catering Circle app. So you can download that, you can watch it back whenever you want and listen back to everything, or watch back to everything that Adam just said right there. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to come to you now, because he's just spoken about apps and technology.
Tell me any subject.
Tell me about your top trends, for technologies at the moment in 2021. What are the ones that you think
so many
top
items.
tech?
So briefly mentioned about quite a few of them. The online ordering system, of course, we mentioned, so I'm not going to go details on that. About online table booking, we have forgot to mention, but this is important because a lot of the reservations come through that, and study shows that if you have a good online booking system, you can have a repeat customer. So, you know, someone cancelled and you can send another email automated through your online booking system saying, oh, when you want the next booking, or you communicate through the online table booking system. Some of them are very clever, like OpenTable, Exceed. There are so many bespoke order online system or table booking systems on the market. That's very useful because it can monitor how many the diners in, and you can point our schedule. So within a few hours, you can have a double sitting or triple sitting, and they can optimize, especially in a busy restaurant where each sit costs a lot of money. You know, if you're on Kensington and some other expensive place or a busy restaurant, you can utilize that timing and have a double, triple people coming in as a throughput. And people can do live booking. For example, I can have an 8 o'clock slot, 10 o'clock slot. But if you don't have that, just to try to organize your table booking system, it can be extremely difficult. So it's worth investment, especially, there's so many software out there with a very fraction of prices. EPOS we mentioned. EPOS is so essential. Nowadays, people can't remember pricing. If you charge your customer too much, is a problem. If you charge a little bit less, it's a problem. So you got to get it right, and the only way to get the calculation exactly right to have an EPOS system doing your calculation, especially with the tablet system built in, especially we've got iPad systems that comes with the EPOS system fully integrated. You got the customer, talk to them, even make them order on the table, and your drinks come straight away on here. You don't need an extra person. For example, you write it on paper, go to EPOS system, type it in. If you have an iPad or a tablet system in place, and it saves you 1 or 2 stuff straight away. You know, some people just have write on paper, go to EPOS system, then they have someone else to type it. They get the mistakes, and the mistakes can be very expensive. You know, you forgot to put a wine bottle in there, and that's going to be very expensive for the restaurant. Again, with the fraction of price, you could resolve all that problem. The new ones coming in, I'm just going to mention a few. There's so many on the list, but voice ordering becoming very, very powerful. Especially you've got the Alexa and Google Assistant. You know, you can just say, oh, I want this, I want this. Especially small item food like McDonald's. You can, I want Big Mac, I want this, I want fillet of fish. Boom, boom. You can do those smaller items. It's very user friendly, and I think the future is coming. Just talking, not even logging in on your app, just talking and ordering.
My daughter's 20 months, and she talks to the remote. So,
And what I'm finding, especially on COVID-19 and the pandemic, a lot of the people have changed their eating habits. Just chat box become very, very useful, especially on social media. I get people, the food companies now doing automated food, so you can order food from Simply Cook or anywhere. They'll come on your messenger and say, oh, here is the menu, which item you want, and it's so user friendly. Click a button, and you have 7 days food in your fridge, and it's heat it up and it's ready to go with high protein and everything else. So this is another technology that a restaurant can utilize, especially with the social media. Chat box, you don't have a real physical person, but the software does it automatically. Very easy to set up as well. There are so many marketing tools, and the loyalty program is on the market that people need to utilize, because at the end of the day, marketing is so important. If you have a business and you don't have the marketing power, I always say, listen, whatever business you're doing, make sure you have 10% budget for your marketing. If you have that, then you can, as you said, get professional involved, use the tools available on the market, and the social media, of course. There's so much to cover, but anyway, let it go.
I think we can be here forever and talk about it. But thank you very much. I think everything you've said definitely makes sense, and I really hope it's helping you at home today if you're watching it, or if you're at your business and you're watching it. I really hope this helps you. We will speak to you more, and we will speak to Adam Martin, Adam, and to Abdul Bari as well. We will speak to you all straight after a quick little break.
Catering Circle, in partnership with Purple Eye Technologies, in association with Meridian Grand, and sponsored by MR Printers, RCI, Regency Events, iTech Boss, Prestige, and DineNet.
Welcome back to the Catering Circle, and we are still talking about embracing new technologies. I've still got my panel guests in studio, and I also have two very special guests on Zoom. So I'm going to go straight to JP and ask JP to tell me about how the credit card processing works in a restaurant.
So, in the case of restaurants, we provide both in-store as well as online processing. So, when a customer is in store in the restaurant paying, they're there, providing their card, tapping it on the POS device, and we as an acquirer are there to be able to verify that that card's valid, that card can be used for that payment, and we authorize the payment. And the restaurant has the peace of mind that they're getting their money next day in their bank account, straight through our processing. So similarly, online ordering is a similar process. The customers input their details online. The cards are verified just to make sure that there are no fraudulent cards. We provide all of these services on top of the actual card processing itself. And again, once the payment is authorized and confirmed, that payment, that amount of money is placed on account. And then based on the settlement terms that we give with restaurants, they're usually the next day the restaurant receives their money in their account straight into their bank account. So they've got the peace of mind that they get their money quickly, as opposed to handling check, cash, which they then have to, go to the bank and then do the deposits and all of everything, all the security issues that come with those.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And Dr. Shafiq Ahmed, what would you like to add anything to when it comes to embracing new technologies?
I think I've touched on it before, which is I think data is a key thing. So you can use that for marketing. I've heard lookalike modeling. I think that's a very powerful tool. Facebook allows you to do that.
You mentioned that.
I think if we can use the data, harness the data, that tells you three things, as we know. So it tells you who has placed the order, where it was placed from, and how it was placed. I think the next challenge would be to find out why the order was placed. So that's a challenge for research community. I think they're trying to answer that. But if we can tackle that, that would be amazing. I don't think that's possible, but yes, that's a challenge. But use data. I think we underuse data. If we can use data to make intelligent decisions, to understand our customers better, I think that will allow you to optimize many business decisions to make more revenue and also save costs.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Talking about saving costs and embracing new technologies, I'm going to come to Martin and ask you. I mean, tell us a little bit about this whole latest technology of a combi oven. I mean, we know that these combi oven are really, really important, and we've heard from, Abdul Bari as well say how amazing it is. Yeah. But does it actually replace the traditional tandoori oven? Does it really replace a tandoori chef? Like, would you say it does? It tastes the same?
Yeah. So basically, most tandooris that are in a general aren't traditional. A tandoor oven is a clay oven that was usually got into the ground. So if you bought a tandoor oven that you plug into the wall, it's not traditional, is it? Okay. So you have to you get used to it. So basically, a tandoor oven will have a temperature and a climate. It will be very dry in there. There won't be any humidity. What we can do in a combi steamer oven is that we can actually take away the humidity. So if I'm like the gentleman said here, if you're cooking many chicken tikkas at the same time, time, they will produce a lot of steam. And the problem with lots of steam is that you can't colour the food properly. A tandoor is very, very dry, so it colours the food very quickly. I can take away or dehumidify my cabinet constantly so it does replicate a tandoor. We can also add a smoker to our equipment as well. So if it is the smoked flavour that you're missing, we can actually add an authentic smoked flavour to that with a simple addition of an accessory that goes in there. But there's lots of other things. I mean, combi steamers is one. There's also the rise of multifunctional pans now. So this is replacing things like saucepans. And the thing about a saucepan and a burner is you need to have somebody that knows what they're doing to be able to cook in it. Otherwise, it's going to be a mess. So with multifunctional pans, you can do very similar things. Multifunctional pans like the Iverio, if people want to go and have a look at stuff. You can boil in them, shallow fry, deep fry. You can pressure cook in them. So you can cut down prep times, maximise the amount that you can do with very, very little staff indeed as well. And also a new emerging technology, which I think everyone should really keep an eye on, is the hot holding technology. Which is a really, really interesting thing going forward.
Tell us.
So basically, I mean, you can do hot holding. So if somebody made you some dinner and they said, I'm going to put it in the oven for you and it'll be ready when you get home, you know when you get home it's going to be dry, it's going to be pretty manky. Hot holding technology will take food that you've cooked and prepared and then using heat and moisture circulation be able to keep that food as if it was just as if you had just plated it up when it was hot.
So it is literally out of the oven.
Yeah. So so if you, for instance, you could in a restaurant situation or in a banqueting situation, I could plate up 120 plates, or I think we can do 120 at a time. We can roll it in and then using heat and moisture circulation revive the food, or you can keep it as if it was you've just cooked it. So there's something I've heard quite interesting that there's a hotel group that are looking at hot hold boxes to go outside of their hotel to replace their kitchen. So you could be at work and you're staying in a hotel, you could order whatever it is at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't get home till 6. But the technology in this box has actually kept it. You take it back to your room and you eat it.
That's amazing.
There's a lot of.
But when we think about the nutrition, I mean, nutritionally.
Well, it doesn't. Yeah. So no, it doesn't, because, like I say, if you put a lasagna or something like that,
so it doesn't reduce.
No, it doesn't. It keeps the flavour where it should be as well. And there's an important. You're probably going to see more steam coming out of the kitchens than you will smoke going into the future. Things like sous vide, so water baths and things give you an ability to cook a piece of meat or cook a piece of fish absolutely perfectly, and it will never overcook and it will never undercook because it's being held at the precise temperature that it needs to be. So, I mean, have a look, get your customers to have a look online at the technologies that are around there. Make sure that whoever you purchase your technology from train you how to use it, because, like I said, there's no point plopping a brand new amazing piece of equipment
and not being trained
and not knowing how to use it. So get in contact with Rationale or other companies out there that are available, and we can come and actually do free consultations. We do free demonstrations, so you bring your food to our site, we'll cook it and we'll prove it to you.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And just like Martin said, please do your own research before deciding which combi oven you want to go for. And actually, I have one at home, but it's not that great. I mean, I need one of these in my house. I mean, I thought
and it cleans itself at the end of the night with a tablet.
Actually, my one does.
Yeah,
so it does clean itself.
It burns the dirt. And you have to brush it out.
Yes, it does. Actually, you're right. Yeah, it doesn't fully clean it. That's true. I still have to do stuff, and I thought me having my Wi-Fi oven was the most coolest thing ever. But I'd much rather have one of those in my house.
We will top trump it.
I'd much rather have that. And I'd like to ask you now, Mr. Abdul Bari, about these technologies that Martin's just spoken about. You have a huge banqueting hall, and you have many successful catering businesses. Now, I feel that sometimes in the catering industry, especially the old school caterers maybe that have been around for years and years and years, may not know about these technologies. How do we how do we reach out to them? How do we tell them about this? And is it important to tell them about this? Do you believe that, yes, we need more combination ovens, we need people to come train us, we need people to tell us more about it? How important is it for the Indian restaurant or Bangladeshi restaurant industry?
I think it is very important. I think most of the caterers, I mean wedding caterers, we use combination oven. It could be Russian and other oven, because without that, it is very hard to sort of serve a large quantity. But many restaurants, I think what it is lack of understanding and training. But many people doesn't know that if you talk to restaurant or any combination company, they will come and exactly speak to you and show you how good or how you can use their ovens. And I think it is very important. It sort of improve the productivity. It sort of gives the staff, I mean, any technology like ecosystem. I don't know how a still restaurant managed to run without any ecosystem. I mean,
how did you manage to run? You know, I mean, because you've been in this industry for a very long time.
Well, yes, I used to have restaurant, and always kitchen and front staff used to fight with how to write chicken curry. And is it chicken curry or something else? You know.
So you've seen this transition, right?
Of course,
so you've seen that transition. You know, where it used to be on pen and paper, where it used to be, you know, you'd have like 5 chefs in there cooking different curries, different things. So now you have everything in one place. Firstly, tell me one benefit of that, and tell me one disadvantage of that.
Well, there is not only one benefit. As any ecosystem, like like Hokbai says, when you are taking order, your drink may go to the table. Some of your starters can go to the kitchen, and different printer can print different location, different product. It doesn't need to go to a central kitchen and where tandoori chef will not see what's happening, what is his order, main chef have got everything. No, it can be done different way, and there is no place for any misunderstanding. If it is chicken vindaloo or extra hot, I mean, there is so many argument by front staff and kitchen staff, you know, mistakes happened, and as rightly said, there was many mistake that you served a drink and which was never on the bill. So I think I don't know how people are still managing without ecosystem, because I'm out of that restaurant trade for a long time, and I think I actually customize my event management software. I think I wouldn't even dream without using some sort of software. Any business, I wouldn't dream of running it. I don't know how people can run it, because we need so many information. Like my event management system, I need to how many inquiries I have, and how my staffs are following that inquiries, because that is my lifeline. Same as customer ordering. I mean, you know, we need customer data, and customer data is very important. It's a gold dust for us. You know, any information which comes through and which we collect through our point of sale system, we can use it for later benefit of any restaurant. So I think people should people have that. What you call that scare. They don't know how to use that, and they have all this negative information. Technology, I mean, technology always can benefit you, and if you have any doubt, it can be used differently.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I know we don't have much time, and we still have our top tips to go through. So just quickly, could you tell me about the must-haves in-house technology and front-house technologies?
The must-have obviously nowadays is we already talked about the smartphone. So anything to do with smartphone, we've got to utilize that, because if we don't move into that trend, we lose out so many customers. So you know, Water Online we mentioned, the reservation system we mentioned, the marketing tools we mentioned. We got to have those tools utilize for ourselves and get the marketing control. We talked about EPOS system. Again, EPOS system, we always say that is how you use your tool. It's a tool for you. If you don't know how to use it, it's a big problem. You need to make sure the software is right. You got a very expensive hardware. I was talking earlier today. You got a very expensive hardware, but you downloaded a software, does a calculator job. You can buy a calculator for £10 for that. So why are you investing on thousands of pounds on a hardware and got a very poor software? Make sure you got a software that is fully integrated with many of the application you need, like caller ID devices. And we're doing delivery postcode databases. We're talking about water parts. If you got the restaurants, do it. The SMS systems. If you want a label printing, is nowadays important. The integration is key to a EPOS system, and of course the user friendliness and the database. And that's all you need. SQL Server and other stuff we can talk about. User friendly.
Thank you very much. And the last question about embracing new technologies, Adam, I'd like to ask you about, because you've given us some really good examples and you've given us some really good advice today. But many businesses say that transaction fees are unfair, and many are looking to leave if an alternative is provided. Why do you think that is?
I think whether it's payment stacks specifically, where they charge per transaction fee, or whether it's software in general, if they're charging commission on orders, I think there's a lot of bad behaviour from software providers. And actually, I'd encourage anyone who is reviewing software to be really vigilant with the salesperson that they're talking to and ask exactly how much they're going to have to pay and where. Yeah. Because I would watch out for things like...
Are they hidden charges?
With a lot of... Obviously, it varies from software to software. So obviously, StoreKit prides itself on having absolutely no hidden fees. It is one cost, that is a transaction cost that is per successful order, but you don't have to spend anything else. But there's no SaaS fees, there's no integration fees, there's Whereas what a lot of software brands do, particularly ones that are very, very big, and I won't name names, but that have gotten competitively lazy, let's say, the way that they think about it is in terms of extracting money. So they will have their base fees, and then they will go, well, we've got all of these partners, but they'll charge the partners to integrate with them, and then they will try and charge the merchants as well, and they'll just sort of find ways to try and get extra money out. So I would think very carefully. I'd look up the difference between kind of OPEX and CAPEX, and actually there's a lot of some places charge a lot up front, and some places charge monthly, and kind of understand the difference there, and work out the differences in big contracts. But be vigilant and make sure you get somebody who's totally transparent with regards to their pricing. That's what I'd say. And
maybe take someone with you that actually understands that. Right?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much. So there you have it. That was all about embracing technologies, and of course we've spoken about ordering online earlier on this evening, and now it's all about the next segment, which is about top tips. And before our panellists give us their advice and top tips, and of course those that are joining us on Zoom, we have some community or industry experts with some video messages to tell you just how they've survived, and some great tips, and sharing their experiences about embracing new technologies. Let's go check it out, what they have to say.
We all know the benefits of having an EPOS system, and I'll just go as far as saying that if you do not have one, you're already years behind. Secondly, we have our own online ordering system with our own app as well, which can be downloaded by customers to order their takeaways online. Thirdly, we have our own reservation system, and one of the other things that we do is we offer free Wi-Fi to our customers. The other thing that we've consciously done is we've updated our website to make it more mobile friendly, because analysis tells us that people are using mobiles more than laptops and desktops to access websites, so that helps us in showing a good image of the restaurant.
At reception, as you can see, we've got a standalone desktop that shows all of our incoming bookings and all the tables that are occupied. and so it's easy for us to move our customers around. I'd like to move into the bar. Before the bar, I'd like to show you a handheld order-taking iPad system. So it makes it nice and easy. You take the order, and a printout goes into the kitchen. Here, in the bar, I'm sure all of us are used to these appliances. You've got a dishwasher and an ice machine, as well as the undercount chiller units, your printing machine, and your EPOS system. So we will go through to the kitchen now, and then in the kitchen, what I'd like to show you is your onion chopper and dicer. It will dice and chop onion, a 25 kg bag, in about 10 minutes. The other beautiful piece of equipment I'd like to show you is a combination oven. It will grill, it will bake your fish, your chicken, your duck, all in one go, individually timed, at a press of a button.
Quite impossible to run the operation without good, effective online systems and EPOS systems. It takes a huge pressure off your shoulder. Your staffs are free to do other things. As a boss, you are able to manage your business smoothly.
Embracing technology is very important. We need to adapt. We need to be able to update ourselves, our business, through EPOS system, online ordering system, which ensures the smooth running of any business, which makes things more efficient, which helps increase sales and revenues. So it's very important that we adapt ourselves to our current situation.
There you have it, and thank you so much for sharing your top tips and your advice and your experience, and I wish you all the best of luck, and I really hope it's helped you at home today. And of course, thank you to our panel's judges. Gosh, I'm going back to 2019 when we had our judges here. To our guests that are here today, thank you so much for joining us, and I'd like to hear your top tips and your advice before I say goodbye to you. So I'd start with Martin.
Yeah, I'll just say, listen, think about your menus, condense them down, don't stick with what you used to do, be smart with what you're cooking, use technology, ensure that you get trained, use everything around you, and just be successful. Change, don't be afraid to change.
Thank you very much, that's really good advice. Thank you very much.
Top tips, obviously, saving is your profit. Technology could save you a lot of money. You've got to be a smart businessman. If you are investing on technology, make sure you go for a good brand. Make sure, the integration is there. What makes you a good technology that can integrate so many different applications, like your iPhone, a smartphone, and a normal phone. So you've got to make sure the integration is right, and be a smart businessman and save some money.
Thank you very much. And thank you to our panelists on Zoom today as well. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate your time and all the advice and tips that you've shared with us today. So thank you very much, JP and Dr. Shafi Ahmed. I've also like to hear what you'd like to say and give us advice quickly.
Well, I'd like to say to all restaurant owners, at least try EPOS system and other technologies, how it works for you. Trying, and I think once you try it, you will like it definitely. Technology is there to save everybody's life easy.
Thank you very much. And Adam?
I've got one tip. I'll keep it short and sweet. So whether it's with StoreKit or another provider, there is one thing that you need to think about that you're probably not thinking about enough, and that is your own time. And with any technology rollout, you should be thinking ruthlessly about how do I give myself as much time as possible to think about my business, because it is as important as money.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And on that note, it is time for me to say goodbye. I'm Nadia Ali. It's been great being a part of this show this season. This is the last of me on this season, actually. Hopefully, maybe, I'll see you on the next season. But for now, I'd like to say goodbye, and hopefully we'll see you very, very soon with some great advice and great shows coming up right here on Channel S through the Catering Circle. Take care.